Alcohol kills 3 million people worldwide every year. That means every 10 seconds a human being dies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another human being died. Hello friends, today you must be knowing about what topic I am going to make a video on today. If you don't know, then let me inform you. I am going to make a topic on how alcohol affects our body. But first, please watch my digestive and nervous system videos I had made. The links will be in the comments box given below. I am recommending you to do this because alcohol mainly affects the digestive and the nervous system. So if you know a lot about the digestive and nervous system, or if you have watched my videos on those, then you will be able to understand this video. So let's learn on how alcohol affects our body. So let's learn. Facts. Worldwide, 3 million people die because of drinking alcohol. This results in 5.9% of total deaths happening in the world. Alcohol has been found to contain a link with 200 other diseases caused in human beings. Drinking weakens immune system, and if you're weak in immunity, then AIDS disease will grip you. Not only AIDS disease, but also many other infectious and communicable diseases will grip you. History of alcohol. Archaeologists believe that human beings weren't the only ones to discover alcohol. Once there was a wind and some overripe plums fell, and ape ate them, and he began to experience some strange effects. This ape has stumbled on a process that human beings would later eventually use to create fermented drinks like beer, wine, and other drinks. Beer was made in Egypt using cereals like maize, corn, and barley. Do you know while building the pyramids of Giza, beer was very important? That is because every worker who worked on building the Giza pyramid had got 4 to 5 liters of beer as his ration every day. Not only beer gives refreshment, it is also nutritional. The earliest evidences of alcohol were found during the Stone Ages, where stone jugs contained some remains of fermented drinks, as the archaeologists believe. Some jugs also reveal that people were fermenting many fruits, rice, grapes, millets, honey, etc. to create their own fermented drinks. Like I said, beer was made by maize, cereals, and crops. I mean the maize, barley, and corn. All these were made in the African countries, especially Egypt. Wine was available there, but it was very expensive. In North European countries, you will get wine as the climate was ideal for growing grapes. South African and South American people made chicha from grains, sometimes adding hallucinogenic herbs. Pulque, made in North America and Mexico, was the drink of choice, made with agave sap. The Japanese made sake from rice. Gradually, the whole world started culturing their own fermented drinks. But India has shook the world of alcohol with a major discovery: distillation of alcohol. It means distilling the fermented alcohol. Let me tell you how alcohol is fermented. First, you pour some hot water, then pour some necessary ingredients and keep them aside. Then the alcohol will be ready. Distillation or fermentation of alcohol means the fermented drink will be kept in a vessel, boiled, and alcohol will rise up in the form of vapor and then will be collected in another place, and cool water will be splashed. So pure alcohol was formed, called liquor. Liquor originated from India. Ethanol. What is ethanol? Ethanol is a molecule whose formula is C2H5OH, or you can also call it C2H6O. In other words, it can be said that ethanol consists of 2 carbon atoms, 6 hydrogen atoms, and only 1 oxygen atom. Okay, but ethanol is 3 times smaller than a water molecule. Do you know why those overripe plums intoxicated that monkey? That is because the fruit have fermented. Wild yeasts feed on the plant sugar of overripe fruits. They feed on the fruit sugar, and the byproduct is ethanol. Ethanol is the intoxicating ingredient present in alcohol. So the monkey was attracted. But the ethanol released by wild yeasts at the form of byproducts was very harmful for them, and the poor yeasts died. Then the alcoholic content leveled off. Do you know why people all over the world were culturing their own fermented drinks? This is because wild yeasts feed on basically any type of plant sugars. That's why they inserted any types of fruits and sweet things to make alcohol or wine and all those drinks and beverages. Now let me talk to you how ethanol affects the body, how it goes in our body. But first, before we know how it affects the body, let's observe its journey through the body. The alcohol is consumed and it goes into the stomach. The BAC, blood alcoholic content, which I will talk about later, levels up according to the stomach. If you have eaten, the BAC rises slowly and steadily, because after eating, the pyloric sphincter, the muscle which separates stomach from small intestine, closes. So that means the amount of alcohol drunk after a big meal would only be 1/4 absorbed by our body. But if you drink on an empty stomach, then it will be absorbed real fast, as it will enter the small intestine. Do you know why the small intestine absorbs more? This is because the small intestine has a larger surface area. On the walls of the small intestine, there are finger-like projections called villi, and there are even smaller projections called microvilli, and they have even smaller projections called enterocytes. Enterocytes are where all the nutrients enter the bloodstream, and ethanol also enters. Once ethanol is in our bloodstream, it first goes to the 2 organs that receive the most amount of blood, the liver and the brain. Alcohol hits the liver first, and enzymes of the alcohol combat it. An enzyme called ADH converts alcohol into acetaldehyde, which is toxic. And then another enzyme called ALDH converts the toxic acetaldehyde into non-toxic acetate. But the first pass of elimination determines how much alcohol has been absorbed. Also, while converting the alcohol to non-toxic acetate, a lot of side products are released, very harmful. This affects the liver. Then some of the alcohol goes into our brain and tweaking with the brain's neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters connect with synapses to talk with nerves connecting to muscles and other organs. So alcohol affects mainly 3 neurotransmitters: GABA, glutamate, and dopamine. Alcohol increases amount of GABA, and GABA helps us to fall asleep. So when GABA is increased by alcohol, then the brain's electrical activity slows down and finally it stops. It slows down actually. And glutamate is lowered by alcohol. So glutamate helps us to get energy, and lack of glutamate also helps us to fall asleep. And dopamine, when alcohol reaches the brain, it stimulates a group of neurons that produce a squirt of dopamine, which gives users a surge of pleasure. Alcohol also has some neurons synchronized together to release endorphins. Endorphins help us to calm down in response to stress or danger. That makes users feel happier and more sociable. Also, drinking while driving is banned because drinking affects coordination, concentration, judgment, and reflex time. so it may cause fatal road accidents. The long and short-term effects of ethanol in our body. How ethanol harms our body. The short-term effects are impaired judgment, unconsciousness, slurry speech and vision, drowsiness, nausea, headaches, and vomiting. The long-term effects include vitamin B deficiency, infertility, liver disease, brain damage, malnutrition, and stomach ulcers. Besides, it also causes many other harm like steatosis, fatty liver, alcoholic hepatitis, liver fibrosis, and liver cirrhosis. Alcohol affects the pancreas by causing pancreatitis, a dangerous inflammation of the pancreas and the blood vessels inside it, thus making the pancreas unable to release bile. I've talked to you about bile anyway. Alcohol also causes mouth, esophageal, throat, breast, and colon cancers. Alcohol causes the heart to stretch and droop, which normally does not happen, and it causes arrhythmias, an irregular heartbeat. That means the heart beating isn't regular. Drinking also weakens our immune system, like I told you earlier in this video. Drinking weakens our immune system and makes us an easy target for any diseases, like any infectious disease, like the AIDS disease and all those. So now let's talk about the genetic differences in how alcohol affects. For example, a man and a woman eating the same amount of food at an identical meal, weigh the same, they're of the same age, drinking the same amount of alcohol, still the blood alcoholic concentration will be different. Women generally tend to have higher amount of fat that requires less blood than muscle. So equal amount of alcohol means the concentration will be higher for women. Also, it appears that some have more fat than muscle and some have more muscle than fat. And it also depends upon the genetic differences of the enzymes in the liver. And regular drinking can develop the liver of tolerance. Also, genetic differences in endorphin, GABA, glutamate, and dopamine can also affect. Due to chronic drinking, the brain in advance lowers the GABA level, dopamine level, and endorphin level and stimulates glutamate activity. So regular drinkers tend to be anxious, have difficulty falling asleep, experience less pleasure, and are depressive. They suffer from depression. So alcohol affects our body by 3 factors: whether you have eaten or not, weight, generation, and gender. These are the 4 factors which affect how alcohol harms our body. So let us talk about the BAC, blood alcoholic content. BAC, aka blood alcoholic content. The amount of BAC in our blood can affect how our body works. At a BAC of 0.2 to 0.4, the physical and mental effects will be, along with a slight buzz in your head, you might more feel at ease and happier than normal. At a BAC of 0.4 to 0.7, you will feel euphoria, relaxation, and sociability. At a BAC of 0.07 to 0.9, a mild impairment of balance, speech, vision, and control. Vision, hearing, reaction time, speech, and coordination will lose balance. At a BAC of 0.1 to 0.15, you will have significant impairment of motor coordination and loss of judgment. Speech may be slurred, gross impairment of motor control, blurred vision and major loss of balance, onset of dysphoria, anxiety and restlessness. At a BAC of 0.16 to 0.2, dysphoria predominates. Nausea may appear. Drinker has the appearance of sloppy drunk. At a BAC of 0.2 to 0.25, you will increase risk of serious physical injury. Pain signals are now inhibited, more likely that you will fail to notice an injury. At a BAC of 0.25 to 0.3, You will have difficulty in breathing, your heart rate will increase, and your blood pressure will increase and have strokes, and you will vomit. At a BSA of 0.35 to 0.4, you will lose consciousness and you will be in a brink of coma. At a BSA of 0.4 and up, you will have the onset of coma and likelihood of death. So now I've talked to you about how alcohol affects our body in various ways. I would like to tell you one thing, that wait for my next video. Meet you in the next video. Okay, bye bye.